Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This photograph, a reminder of the 1st of August 2018 shooting of protesters in Harare, has been circulating in the social media with the warning, beware, be warned, to remind people of what happened then. I don't have to guess which faction of ZANU-PF is circulating the warning. The Mnangagwa faction, of course. They don't want the people to come out in support of the so-called Geza revolution, the 31st March uprising, as he calls it. And so they are warning people that there could be bloodshed again. What I find interesting is that if the people, if Zimbabweans had had the premonition that 8 months after the November military coup 2017, this would happen, how many of them would have supported the military coup? It's interesting because the same soldiers that they were supporting on the 17th of November are, in all probability, at least some of them, were the ones who received the shoot to kill orders and committed the shootings. Some people have called November 17th, the Zimbabweans came out in their numbers, Dzungu Day, for the simple reason that the people should have known better. They should not have gone out and supported the military coup. If the truth be told, in fact, it is Dzungu Day in every respect because people knew that the November 2017 military coup was seeking to replace Mugabe with Mnangagwa. The people of Zimbabwe by then would have known who Mnangagwa is. This is the man who had been responsible for carrying out all the atrocities of the last 37 years on behalf of Mugabe. And his fellow coup plotters were involved in those activities. It's not as if we didn't know who Mnangagwa is or was. We did. When it comes to elections, Mnangagwa was the one who orchestrated the 2008 electoral coup, where even more people were killed than were to be killed on the 1st of August. Here is Mnangagwa himself boasting about his
2008 patakaita ma-elections pakaposa papinda Tsvangirai ndandiri election agent yapresident. Results abuda tiri party headquarters vamutasa vanga vari secretary vedu veadministration vamutasa muripi ndafona ndiri kwarusapi komogwenda kwarusapi seka results achibuda kudai vanga aiwa zvako izvo Mnangagwa ndezvako endaenda kumusha ofisi vanga vabisa zvinhu zvavo zvose vatofunga kuti zani yadini yaparara. President ofona zvakamira sei kati ndomamira zvakaita takatodini kateda sei manje mama ndikati abvudzai baba nditaurira baba gadzirai politburo cabinet musarangarira zvimwe zvipi gadzirai chi cabinet asi nangoda kuti muzive kuti 2008 results abuda vamutasa vakatiza.
As a country we face a generational transition. Vana vesa vari kuma below 35 they are crying out for help. The country is in a mess. Arusuru. We know we are inheriting a mess. We know this country has been left with nothing.
I'm assuring you that starting from tomorrow, you'll see a different nation from what you have seen or read on the news about these results and everything. Where we are going ahead there, the situation will be very different. What we said to our people, they could not see with their own eyes. We are going to act as we see it fit. We are prepared to go the whole distance.
For the record, blessed Geza and many of the war veterans in his camp were actively involved in the 2008 Operation Mafutera Papi. Just that now they're in a different camp. This is history repeating itself. This is what is so tragic about our present situation. We keep repeating the same mistake over and over again. Let's be very clear here. Geza and his colleagues have made it abundantly clear that they are fighting. They want Mnangagwa replaced. Mnangagwa is corrupt, he's a tribalist, etc., etc. No one would dispute that. And they want him replaced with Chiwenga. Chiwenga is the VP right now. Many people believe that it was Chiwenga who ordered the shoot to kill on the 1st of August 2018. Chiwenga, if he was to get in, we can be certain of one thing, that he too would want to consolidate his hold on power. He would not want to hold free, fair, and credible elections. We can disagree on many things, but on that point, we have to agree. He is not to get in, carry out democratic reforms, hold the elections, lose those elections, and accept that he has lost. That we can be certain of. Just as Mnangagwa was not going to hold free, fair, and credible elections in 2018. So what is likely to happen? Well, you'll get in. Come the elections, you will rig the elections. And if anyone should dare protest, he will order shoot to kill. If he ordered shoot to kill to protect Mnangagwa stay in power as president, he himself, of course, had an invested interest. He was the VP. It is naive to think he will not order shoot to kill to hang on to his own to his own position. And let's not forget, he was the man who ordered the military coup of 2017. So as much as this warning was issued by the Mnangagwa supporters, the truth of the matter is, it might have as well have been issued by the Mugabe supporters before the 2017 military coup. And the coup supporters, the coup plotters would have said, no, there's not going to be any violence. Well, in 2017, November, there was no violence because the coup happened and they had soldiers on the streets who welcomed the people. This time it could be totally different. It doesn't look like Geza and company have secured the support of the army. So there could be bloodshed on the 31st of March. And even if the protesters should prevail, we are not out of the woods yet. Chiwenga, when he gets into power, if he was to get into power, he too would want to consolidate his hold on power by using the soldiers with orders to shoot to kill. We are just going round and round in circles here. What the country needs is to end the dictatorship. In 2017, the economic situation was putting Mugabe under enormous pressure. That he had to change, that he needed to change. The breaking up of the factions within ZANU-PF was also a response to the growing economic pressure. What the Lacoste faction offered is offer the people that we can change this if you come out along with us. And the mistake we made is to trust the Lacoste faction that they will bring about meaningful change. All what that was happening is, in fact, one faction of ZANU-PF was fighting another over the control of the party. Neither faction wanted the dictatorship dismantled. This is what people fail to understand. And so it's no surprise that when Mnangagwa and company got into power in November 2017, their immediate concern was to consolidate their power by using the very things that had kept Mugabe in power for 37 years. Use brute force, silence all dissent, stifle freedom of expression, etc., etc. You have got to be incredibly naive if you seriously think if Geza and company were to get into power on the 31st of March or thereafter, their first and top priority will be to consolidate power. They are not going to reform themselves out of office. The Geza faction is as much ZANU-PF as the Mnangagwa faction is. They're just fighting on who is controlling the dictatorship. They're not fighting about dismantling the dictatorship. In 2017 military coup, all it achieved was swap one dictator for another. And we should have learned our lessons from that and made sure that in future we do not fall in the same trap again of fighting one dictator, of thinking that swapping one dictator for another would change anything. That would not change anything. That is what we've got to understand. Yes, some people will argue that, well, at least we'll have stopped Mnangagwa amending the constitution to allow himself to stay in power. Even if he was to change the constitution, our fight is to end the dictatorship. The dictatorship of Mnangagwa is no different from the dictatorship of Chiwenga. We need to fight the dictatorship. Changing the constitution will provide the opportunity, a better opportunity to fight Mnangagwa than what this 31st uprising is offering. Because as much as he can get parliament to try to change the constitution, he still has to go to a referendum. That, if it's well organized, will be where you can stop Mnangagwa's ambition. Just as much as elections, even if Chiwenga was to get in, or somebody else, 2028, making sure that he doesn't get legitimacy would be the fight that the people will have to make. In the past, we have failed because we have been conned by the opposition to participate in those flawed elections. So I repeat, the 31st March will accomplish nothing, because if it's all it's going to do is swap Mnangagwa for Chiwenga, will have accomplished nothing. And there is a big danger that, having come out in support of the 31st March, it will give legitimacy to Chiwenga. Just as coming out on November 17th in support of the military coup of 2017 gave legitimacy to Mnangagwa. That is why he has been able to last all these last 8 years. We don't want to do the same thing again with Chiwenga. So in many ways, as much as this was supposed to be a warning to the people, to scare the people away from the Geza 31st March uprising, it is a warning that people should actually think about it as well. Because even those who do support the Geza revolution, they cannot rule out that another should to kill will be issued by Chiwenga. In other words, we are just repeating ourselves. The Geza revolution, the 31st March uprising, is an internal SANU-PF affair that will not benefit the ordinary people, because it does not seek to end the dictatorship. It's only a fight on who is going to be the dictator. We are fighting to end the dictatorship, not to replace one dictator with another. That is the number one message that people of Zimbabwe must take home. The support of the 2017 military coup was a mistake. Don't repeat that mistake again. Thank you very much. Have a good day.